Good morning, friends. Today we are going to learn about the skeletal system. So, this topic is very interesting, right? Friends, do you hear this name skeletal system? How is the skeletal system made? So, the skeletal system is made by the bones present in our body. Simply, the skeletal system is a framework of bones. So this framework is also called as skeleton. Friends, the skeletal system is very useful to us. Friends, when we born as a baby, we have 270 bones. But when we grow into an adult, the bones will fuse together and reduced to 206 bones. Friends, now we will learn the parts of the skeletal system in detail. Before going to that, we will see the two types of skeletons. Friends, do you know the two types of skeleton? Friends, the two types of skeletons are appendicular skeleton and axial skeleton. The appendicular skeleton consists of the girdles and the limbs and the pelvic region. Then the axial skeleton consists of the skull, rib cage, and the backbone. Friends, now we will learn about the parts of the skeletal system in detail. First, skull. So the skull protects the brain. The skull of an adult human being generally consists of 22 bones. So these 22 bones are categorized into two types. They are cranial bones and facial bones. Friends, do you know how many cranial bones are there? 8. Friends, do you know how many facial bones are there? 14. First, we will learn the 8 cranial bones. First, frontal, it is 1. Temporal, it is 2. Then sphenoid, it is 1. Ethmoid, it is 1. Then the parietal, it is 2. Then occipital, it is 1. That's all, friends. Next, the 14 facial bones. Friends, do you know all the 14 facial bones? No. Right? So, friends, I will tell you all the 14 facial bones. So, come on, friends, let's start memorizing it. First, the nasal bone, then lacrimal, then the palatine, then the zygomatic bone, then maxilla, mandible, the inferior nasal concha, the femur. So these are the 14 facial bones. Friends, there are 2 nasal bone, there are 2 lacrimal, there are 2 inferior nasal concha, there are 2 maxilla, 1 mandible, and 2 zygomatic bone. then 2 palatine, and 1 vomer. Friends, you have known all the facial and cranial bones of the skull. Yes, friends, it is very easy, right? The lower jaw is alone movable in the skull, okay? And no other parts are movable in the skull. If you eat, friends, if you open your mouth, the lower jaw will move up and down, but the upper jaw will not move like that. Right, friends? So the lower jaw helps us to speak and eat. So the lower jaw and upper jaw, which is the mandible and maxilla, contains 32 teeth. This is for adult only, not for children. The adult has 32 teeth, right? So 16 in upper jaw and 16 in lower jaw. So these teeth help us to eat and sometimes help us to speak. So we can use these teeth in 4 ways. First, crushing, grinding, cutting, and tearing. Okay, friends? Now we will move on to the rib cage. First, the rib cage has 12 pairs of ribs. So these 12 pairs of ribs are divided into 3 types. They are the true ribs, which are called the vertebral ribs. Then false ribs, which are called the vertebrochondral ribs. Then the floating ribs. Okay, friends? So 1 to 7, which are the true ribs, which is the vertebrochondral ribs. Then from 8 to 10, which are the vertebrochondral ribs. Then other 2 pairs, which are the floating ribs. So these 2 ribs do not join other ribs. Okay, friends? So some parts of the ribs, which is the beginning parts of the ribs or cottage, which is called as costal cottage bones. Okay, friends? It will start from the beginning of the ribs, which is from the sternum. So all the ribs are not connected to the sternum. Okay? 1 to 7 pairs are only connected to the sternum, but other also is connected to the sternum, but it directly do not connect to the sternum. The 8, 9 and 10 join to the 7th. It will join together, then only it will connect to the sternum. Okay? So this costal cartilage begins from the starting point of the ribs and end at a small portion of the rib. Okay, so it will be very small only. It will cover a very small portion of the rib. Okay, then there are other parts for the ribs. They are the jugular notch. The jugular notch is the starting of the rib. Next comes the manubrium, then the corpus sterni, and before that sternmangle. Then comes the xiphoid process. Okay? Next, friends, now we will move to the backbone. Okay? The backbone protects the delicate spinal cord, okay? It is made up of 33 smaller bones. Then the rib has 25 bones, friends, okay? The rib has 25 bones. Then the backbone has 33 bones, okay? So these are very small bones. So these are divided into 5. First, the cervical, then thoracic, then lumbar, then sacral, then caucus. Okay? In caucus there are 4, in sacral there are 5, in thoracic there are 12, in the lumbar there are 5, in the cervical it is 7. Okay? Then friends, the spinal cord is inside the backbone, friends. So the backbone is not called the spinal cord. It is inside the backbone, okay? It's like a nerve-like structure, okay? So this backbone is also called as vertebrate columns because the small bones are called as vertebrae, okay? Vertebra in singular, right? So here are some parts: cauda, equina, conus, medullaris, then the disc, which is between the small vertebrae. Okay, so this is between the small vertebrae. Then it will start from the brain. This backbone will start from the brain, right? So the starting point is Cephus. Okay? And friends, these spinal cords start from the brain and it is protected by the backbone, which also start from the brain. Okay? So this backbone is the back part of the rib cage. Okay? Like sternum covers the front part, as I told, the backbone covers the back part of the rib cage. Okay? Friends, now we will learn about the limbs. So before going to the limbs, we will see the short bones of the limbs. For the hands, there will be corpus, and for the legs, which is the lower limbs, there are tarsus. Okay? So the upper limbs, which are the arms. Okay? So these are connected by a girdle. Okay, friends? Now we will learn about the part of the hand. Friends, now I will tell the part of the hands. Friends, we will learn the parts of the hands. First, the girdle is called as the capsula, and at the top of the hand there will be a bone. Okay, so that bone is called clavicle. This bone only is called girdle. So this girdle only helps the limbs to connect with the backbone and the skull. Okay, now we will learn the parts. First, the shoulder joint, the humerus, the ulna, the radius, the corpus. So these are the parts. So above the corpus there are 10 small bones. Okay? Then when we come to the lower limbs, which are our legs, we will see the parts now. First, the pelvic joint, the femur, the tarsus, the metatarsus, and the phalanges. Like that, for the upper limbs also, metacarpus and phalanges will come, okay? Friends, in this upper limbs there are 64 bones, and in the lower limbs there are 62 bones, okay? Friends, as I have told that the girdles help to connect the limbs to the vertebral column or the backbone and the skull, right? For example, in the hands, the clavicle helps to connect it with the spinal cord and the skull, right? So this is the example for the girdles, okay? Friends, now we will learn about the functions of the skeletal system. The skeletal system gives us a shape and support to our body. So different parts of the skeleton protect our delicate and soft internal organs. Okay? So the skull protects the brain. The rib cage protects the heart and the lungs. The backbone protects the delicate spinal cord, as I have told, right? So the skeletal system allows the movement of different body parts. Yes, friends, right? Many bones in our body are hollow, right? So these are filled up with a jelly-like substance called bone marrow, right? So blood cells are produced by this bone marrow. So the bone marrow is divided into two types. They are yellow bone marrow, red bone marrow. So the yellow bone marrow produces white blood cell. The red bone marrow produces red blood cell. Okay? Friends, now we will learn about joints. Friends, do you know what is a joint? A joint is a place where two or more bones meet. Okay? Bones are held together at joint by special tissues. So these tissues are connective tissues, okay? So these tissues are called ligaments. So a tough elastic tissue called cartilage. So it is softer than bones and stiffer than muscles, okay? So this cartilage is present on the surface of the bones. Friends, now we will see a small example for the parts to the joints, okay? For example, knee. In the knee, there will be cartilage, synovial fluid, synovial lining, and above that only the ligament will be there, okay? First the cartilage, the synovial fluid will cover that, then which will help to move it freely, okay? The ligaments or the synovial fluid help to move it freely, then the synovial lining will cover around it, then the ligament will be there, okay? The cartilage and the ligament will help to move your legs, hands, everything freely, okay? So friends, how will you move your legs, properly. Yes, with the help of cartilage and ligaments. Okay? Then, friends, most joints of our body are movable. Okay? There are four types of movable joints. First, ball and socket joint. Friends, so this joint will have a cup-shaped end and a ball-shaped end. So this will go into the bone and the rotation alone will be there. So if we keep something into our hand and rotate it, the thing that it holds will rotate, right? Same like in our body, okay? So this ball and socket joints do like this only. So this mechanism is applied in this ball and socket joint. If we keep something into our hand, the thing that it holds will rotate as we rotate the thing that we hold in our hand. So the thing that it holds will also rotate, right? Like this only the ball and socket joint runs. Next, hinge joint. This type of joint allows only back and forth movement. Ball and socket joint allows movement in many directions. The hinge joint, it works like hinges of a door, right? So there will be a lining and we can move it in the front and the back. Like that only the hinge joint does. So it is in knee. So in it up we'll have the sesamoid bone. Okay? So it is called sesamoid bone or the patella. So bones in the knee, elbow, fingers and toes have this type of joint, right? Then pivot joint. So the pivot joint allows you to move your head up, down and inside this, okay? It is found between your head and the first vertebra of your backbone, okay friends? Friends, now we will learn the gliding joint. So this type of joint allows the bones to slide against each other in a gliding motion. Yes friends, it is found between the bones of your wrist and ankle. If you see that, it will go in a gliding motion, right? It cannot go in front or back, but it can move in a gliding motion in sideways, right? That is only I'm telling here. Friends, now we are proper in the joints. Friends, now we will learn about cottage. I have already told you that the cottage helps to move our bones freely, right? So if there was no cottage, our bones will not be in a correct position. If we move and move, the bones will scratch themselves, right? So by scratching, the bones will wear out, right? So this is the help of cartilage. Friends, now we will learn about muscles. So muscles are small tissues that cover bones, okay? So the muscles are attached with the help of special tissues with the bones called tendons. First, at the top of the bone will be the tendon, and on the tendon only the muscle will be there. So it will be connected, right? Both muscles and bones work together to make movement possible, right friends? It is correct, right? So they also help in important processes such as digestion. Yes friends, in the stomach there will be muscles. In the intestine there will be muscles. So it makes it very soft and make it easy to digest, right? So there are three types of muscles in our body. Friends, do you know the three types of muscles? They are skeletal muscles, cardiac muscles, smooth muscles. So the skeletal muscles help in movement. So muscles in the arms and legs are examples for skeletal muscles, okay? So these are the only type of muscles that can be controlled by us. In which direction we want. If we want to move our arm now in the right side, we can move. Okay? But in cardiac muscles and smooth muscles, we can't move like that. So cardiac muscles. So it is found in the heart. Okay? So we do not have any control to that. If we say your heart, we cannot give any control to that. The heart will alone do the process. It will decrease its size, increase its size. Like that only. We do not do any controls to that. Right, friends? So these do their work automatically. Wow, an amazing muscle, right? Next, smooth muscles. Muscles in the digestive system such as stomach, intestine, the other organs will also have some muscles. So these are very smooth. So these are called smooth muscles. Okay? We do not have any control over this type of muscles. Also, okay? Friends, I hope you have learned about the skeletal system and about muscles in detail. We will meet in the next video, friends. Until then, we will take a goodbye. And do not forget to subscribe, comment, like and share our video. If you're watching this video without subscribing our channel, please subscribe our channel and click the bell icon and click all. A like you put is the motivation to us to put the next video, friends. Please put a like. Until then, I will take a goodbye from you. Thank you, friends. We will meet in the next video. Goodbye.